All right, my friends, we are ready for another edition of Political Point Magazine. You are watching yes, Political Point Magazine. Where the right is right and the left, well, the left is always on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. So enjoy a conservative point of view. And let's talk pea soup. With tonight's top stories. Ah, yes. Red alert! Red alert! The Ebola crisis just got a whole lot worse, my friends. And there's concern that we are not ready for the Ebola breakout. Alright. No, not at all. Alright. But, yes. 2 nurses now have contracted the Ebola virus. And is the CDC too politified? As Obama appoints an Ebola czar to deal with the crisis with Ebola. And we will tell you he is totally unqualified. That's right. And also, is Frieden gets grilled by Congress on this. Did the CDC director mislead the public? We are finding overwhelming evidence of that. And the New York Times reports, finally, that chemical weapons of mass destruction have been found in Iraq. Oh yes, this is the big story of the old gray lady. Now, oh yes. And the midterm elections are looking good for the Republicans. We will talk about all that and more with you, the viewers, when we take it to the phones tonight on Political Point with your humble host, William Mitro. All right, my friends. Yes, welcome. All right, my friends. Well, it is now. We just had the situation get a whole lot worse, my friends. Yep, that's right. Okay, now, the situation is now we have 2 nurses now that have contracted the Ebola virus. Yeah, that's right. Okay, the Ebola now has been the hot topic tonight, or as we have been coming into play here. All right, but it is significant that we touch on things that have been going on. All right, because let's see. So now this Duncan fella that flew from Liberia to the United States, right? Yeah, to the United States. That's right, my friends. Okay. and then they said that he had no symptoms upon leaving Liberia, okay. But once he got into the United States, all right, then he started showing some symptoms of the illness, and then all of a sudden he was transported to the Dallas hospital, all right, and then my friends, it gets a little shaky from here, all right, because this, my friends, has its downfalls here, all right. That's right, my friends, okay, because now then after a while of being in the hospital, okay, in Dallas, all right, Duncan dies, okay, of the Ebola, from Ebola, all right. Now we have a situation where one of the nurses now has contracted, the nurse that treated him. Now, the nurse that treated him now has contracted the Ebola virus. Yeah, can you believe this? Okay? It all got a lot worse, my friends. It all got a lot worse. All right? Yep. The Ebola crisis just got a whole lot worse, my friends. Yep. And this is here's the outtake here. All right. Now, it was supposed to be a joyous trip, okay, home for the bride to be, planning a white wedding, but Amber Vincent's visit to her native Ohio ended up in the darkest of fears. Okay, the 29-year-old nurse, Dallas nurse, okay, after finding out that her colleague had been diagnosed with Ebola, spoke to her pastor in an emotional phone call. All right. Now, for those of you who are unaware, okay. Now, first we had another, okay. First, this first nurse, okay. This is Nanny Finn. Nanny Finn, I believe her name is. All right. But Nanny Finn got Nanny Finn got contracted the Ebola virus, okay, and this is one of the nurses who was who got contracted, who worked on and tried to save, who treated this Duncan fella. All right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, but anyhow, so two nurses now have contracted the virus. All right. It is pathetic. Okay. And the CDC now has been is said to have misled the country, okay, misled the public now, and in all this confusion, they refuse to, just like the administration, they refuse to seal off Africa, all right. Okay, they refuse to seal off Africa, and then the CDC just the whole situation just got worse. Okay, and we here on Political Point are screaming red alert, red alert. Okay, because now that's the first nurse, okay, that contracted the
International president.
okay, that's the first nurse that contracted the virus. But now, this is the second nurse that right here that has contracted the Ebola virus. All right, and my friends, it is not looking particularly good for the administration. All right, here on this note here. All right, but Amber Vinson. All right, that's the second nurse that has contracted this awful, horrendous virus here, and the administration here is trying to tell us not to bug out. All right, okay, so mind you that this administration now, it has this it's just mind you that this whole thing reeks and smells really bad. All right, but that's the second nurse there, okay, and we are screaming red alert, okay, because we have been misled. Okay, we definitely have been misled here. All right, and the CDC has gotten grilled. Okay, we are and in fact I'm going to conduct the rest of this show here in my Political Point magazine's Political Point of Vision. All right, but now it is quite interesting now that it is quite interesting now that we see that the CDC now is now dubbed the CDC now is now dubbed and I will bring this up here. All right, but the CDC has misled us so much. All right, has misled us, and we are now calling the CDC. Okay, we are now calling the CDC the Center for Disease Confusion. That's right. Okay, but back onto the Political Point magazine's. Whoa, whoops, hold up a second. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, back onto the Political Point magazine's Political Point of Vision. Okay, all right, but here we are. All right, so on this note, my friends. Okay, this is quite dangerous, and the administration now, Obama refuses to seal off South Africa, ban all flights from South Africa. You know, that would solve the problem that we are having. But the CDC now has has misled us. Okay, especially in the case of the recent nurse who took a flight from Ohio to Dallas, Texas. Okay, so she, and there is overwhelming concern. They say it's not airborne. Okay, they say it's not airborne, but you notice a majority of the people now that have been reported to have contracted the virus, contracted Ebola, have flown on airplanes. Yeah, that's right. Have flown on airplanes. All right. So to say that it's not airborne, it kind of gets you wondering here. All right. And this is upon hearing now the second nurse Vinson, which Amber Vinson, okay, which we showed you the picture of, okay. She was said to be getting married, and also it's reported that she did call the CDC to make sure that to confirm that she could fly. But that is not what the CDC director, Frieden, said. Thomas Frieden said about this. Take a listen to this. Okay, take a listen. All right.
Second healthcare worker reported no symptoms and no fever. However, because at that point she was in a group of individuals known to have exposure to Ebola, she should not have traveled on a commercial airline.
She should not have traveled on a commercial airline. Really? But yet we hear from from her that she had permission to fly from the CDC. So that in itself is quite dangerously misleading. All right, and so as this comes up here, we have the CDC director, Thomas Frieden, who was grilled earlier, who was grilled by Congress, okay, and I will show you the clips, okay, of the congressional hearing on this, on Ebola, and wow, this is just so, I blame Obamacare, okay, for this, okay, because we have a healthcare system now that through Obamacare that has been crashing down, okay. Obamacare ultimately made the healthcare system in this country worse. All right, so now we can't stop the ever-growing contracting flow of these people contracting the virus. But here's a little dose of the grilling from the Congress. Okay, take a look at this. All right.
And this is the question the American public is asking. Why are we still allowing folks to come over here? And why, once they're over here, is there no quarantine?
Our fundamental mission is to protect Americans. Right now, we're able to track everyone who comes in.
But you're not stopping them from being around other people, Doctor.
We're still going to rely on self-reporting.
No. We're taking temperatures at many locations within the country. We are having hand-washing stations
So
as
you're
a mandatory
moving away
entry.
from self-reporting? Because originally it was, you said our structure was built on self-reporting when I visited with you earlier.
Well, this guy, he had diarrhea and vomiting. So in your testimony, people should have been completely covered. Is that right?
I would have to look at the exact details to know what the answer to that question would be.
So you don't know whether they should have been completely covered if the patient had diarrhea and vomiting and he had come from West Africa?
If the patient had diarrhea or vomiting, then additional covering is recommended under the CDC recommendations, yes.
So let me ask you a question. Do we know yet how the two healthcare workers in Dallas were contracted the virus? Was it a breakdown in the protocol? Was it a breakdown in the training of the protocol? Do we know whether or not the protocol works?
The investigation is ongoing. We've identified some possible causes. We're not waiting for the investigation to be completed.
So we don't know.
We're immediately implementing
Okay,
safety measures.
I get that. We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. Attention, CDC. Hello. We don't know what's going on here. All right. Should Thomas Frieden resign? I would be in favor of that. Okay. Because he gets out there and openly misleads the public about the Ebola virus. All right. And how everything's contracted and stuff like that. You know, supposedly you can only get it from someone who has already contracted it. All right. And it's not airborne. Okay, but a majority of the people that have already contracted it flew on airplanes. All right. So it's and they refuse to take measures to there is when these people have flown come to this country and when a person came to this country, there was no quarantine, and plus, where was all the protection from the healthcare workers? Where was all the protection for the healthcare workers? All right, this, my friends, okay, this is quite disturbing, okay, and they tell us here in the daily news they want us to keep calm and carry on, really. All right. Now, but this is the gear right here that is supposed to be on. But there was a nurse. Okay, there was a nurse here, a Dallas nurse, slammed her hospital. Okay, for the way it handled 3 Ebola cases, claiming the poorly prepared staff never talked about the disease before it showed up. Okay? Yeah. Never talked to its staff before about the disease before it showed up. All right. Brianna Aguirre, was another nurse at the Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital, and said her large, wonderful facility dropped the ball when Thomas Duncan arrived on September 25th. All right, and also. Okay. Yeah. When Thomas Duncan arrived on September 25th. All right. And she says I can no longer defend my hospital at all. This is what she told NBC's Today Show. Okay, in a Skype interview. Okay, the hospital failed to diagnose Duncan with Ebola and sent him home, even after he told staff he had recently, okay, even though he had told staff that he had recently been in Liberia. Oh my goodness, this is just awful. Okay, this is just awful, my friends. Okay. Yep. And then she goes on to say, okay. Yeah. Okay, so when he returned 2 days later, the staff isolated him, but 2 of the 77 staffers who cared for him contracted the virus. Okay. Now, Duncan died on October 8th. All right. Aguirre said the staff never discussed how it would handle an emergency. She says they gave us an optional seminar to go to, just informational not hands-on, she said. It wasn't even suggested that we go. Aguirre did not treat Duncan, but she did care for her friend and colleague, Nurse Nina Pham, after she was diagnosed with Ebola on Sunday, or last Sunday. Okay, so a second nurse, Amber Vinson, was diagnosed Tuesday. Both Pham and Vinson contracted the disease after treating Duncan. Where was the protection? This is supposed to be the protection right there. Apparently, we can't trust the government. Okay? And on top of that, Obama appoints an Ebola czar. Now, get this. I don't remember the guy's name, but Obama appointed him, all right, to oversee the CDC and Ebola, all right. But guess what? But guess what this guy's background is, all right. Now he appointed this guy to oversee the Ebola crisis, right? But guess what this guy's background is, all right? This guy has no medical history. He's not a doctor, all right? He was an executive at Fannie Mae, right? The mortgage giant that blew up the housing bubble that burst in 2008. This is a guy that was involved with why the economy fell in 2008. And this guy is appointed Ebola czar? You know, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. All right. You know, it's just ridiculous. Okay, we have an administration here, an amateur administration at that one. You know, and Obama appoints a guy that's involved, who's involved with the scandal that crashed the economy in 2008. You know, mind you, Obama was also the top number 2 guy involved in the subprime mortgage scandal that blew up the housing bubble that burst in 2008. This all sounds crazy to me. Yep. All right, and it's just ridiculous. Obama, you are just not the right man for the job. All right, you are tearing this country apart, limb by limb. All right, and you won't take the appropriate measures. Even your former press secretary, okay, Jay Carney, your former press secretary, Jay Carney, has recommended that you ban flights from West Africa. All right. But you won't take that advice. Your former administration officials are bailing on you. All right. And it's just getting so bad. All right. It's just getting so bad. All right. So on to another important story here. All right, which I have read in depth here. But the New York Times, my friend, yes, okay, the New York Times, okay, this was reported in the New York Times. If you look up close, all right, if you look up close here, all right, the New York Times reports abandoned chemical weapons and secret casualties in Iraq. Okay, So finally, the New York Times now is reporting the good stuff. But guess what? This happened last week. They stumbled upon the chemical weapons of mass destruction that Bush was talking about. Okay, apparently this is the rest of them. Okay, but it says in the article, all right, that it says in the article that the special specialist, it says in the article, the soldiers at the blast crater sensed something was wrong. It was August 2008 near Taji, Iraq. They had just exploded a stack of old Iraqi artillery shells buried beside a murky lake. The blast part of let me get to the real story here. Okay, they reported they begin the story. Okay, now they begin the story that a specialist swabbed the shell with chemical detection paper. Chemical detection paper. It turned red, indicating sulfur mustard, the chemical warfare agent designed to burn a victim's airway, skin, and eyes. All right. So they basically found more canisters more canisters that were filled with sarin and mustard agents. Okay, these chemical weapons of mass destruction. All right, and let me read you this article. Mind you, goes in depth. All right, goes very, very much in depth with its reporting here. All right, now it says, okay, that that word about its discoveries, even from troops it sent into harm's way, and from military doctors. Okay, now it says it, but however, this whole article claims that that the soldiers that made the discovery, all right, were told to keep it on the down low or something. So they blame the military for a cover up of why it wasn't widely reported. All right, but however, okay, it goes in depth with its coverage of the story. Okay, it goes on. It said, okay, it goes on to say, all right, that it goes on to say that okay, it goes in with the history of this and during the war on terror and stuff like that. Okay, now it says, after the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, Mr. Bush insisted that Mr. Hussein was hiding an active weapons of mass destruction program in defiance of international will and at the world's risk. United Nations inspectors said they could not find evidence of these claims. Then, during the long occupation, American troops began encountering old chemical munitions in hidden caches and roadside bombs, typically 155 millimeter artillery shells and 122 millimeter rockets. They were remnants of an arms program Iraq had rushed into production in the 1980s during the Iraq-Iran war. Now, all had been manufactured before 1991. Participants said, filthy, rusty, and corroded. A large fraction of them could not be readily identified as chemical weapons at all. Some were empty, though many of them still contained potent mustard agent or residual sarin. Most could not have been used as designed, and when they ruptured, dispersed the chemical agents over a limited area, according to those who collected the majority of them. In case after case, participants said analysts of these warheads and shells reaffirmed intelligence failures. Okay, but first the American government did not find what it had been looking for at the war's outset. Then it failed to prepare its troops then it says, as Iraq has been shaken anew by violence and past security gains have collapsed amid Sunni Shiite bloodletting and a rise of the Islamic State, this long-hidden chronicle eliminates the persistent risks of the country's abandoned chemical weapons. Okay, now it says many chemical weapons incidents clustered around the ruins of the Mathana state established the center of Iraqi's chemical weapons. Well, it goes into the history of this thing. All right, but now it says chemical weapons found by American forces in Iraq. Okay, and it says between 2004 and 2011, American forces in Iraq encountered thousands of chemical munitions. In several cases, troops were exposed to chemical agents. Okay, then it says located where chemical munitions were found, areas under full control of the now then it says May 2004, 2 soldiers exposed to sarin from a shell near Baghdad's Yarmouk neighborhood. Okay, summer 2006, over 2,400 nerve agent rockets found at this former Republican Guard compound. Okay, July 2008, 6 Marines exposed to mustard agents. Okay, then it says August 2008, 5 American soldiers exposed. 2010 or early 2011, hundreds of mustard rounds discovered in a container near an American military base. All right, so this article, by the way, is 4 pages long. 4 pages. That includes the front page, my friends. All right. Now, I would ask, where was the New York Times when this story initially broke? Okay. Whoops. Let me bring that back up. But where was the New York Times when they first discovered that weapons of mass destruction had been found in Iraq? All right. Okay. Yep. All right. Where was the New York Times? All right. When this report originally was reported. All right. Okay. all right, like I have mentioned before, all right, that this report, we have been reporting this since the beginning. Okay, we here on Political Point have reported this story since 2006. All right, take a look at this clip. All right, and this is from the Political Point archive. All right, but this was the report, and after the press release that was on Hannity and Combs back in 2006. All right, take a look at this. All right.
What we can tell you is that the claims that Saddam Hussein did not have weapons of mass destruction at the time of the Iraq War is simply false. This report clearly shows that there were, in fact, a large number of weapons, at least 500, that have been discovered to date, and that those weapons contained sarin and mustard gas, with our obviously nerve agents, that in the case of sarin is lethal.
So, in fact, if anybody was saying now, this is exactly what we suspected he had, and this is only a part of why we went into Iraq, but this is what the president had suspected.
That's exactly right. And Peter said today in our press conference that, we knew that he had weapons of mass destruction before the first Iraq War. We knew that he used them after the war on his own people. And we also know from the Delphi report that he, in fact, had chemical and biological weapons programs in place, and now we know that he also had in his possession chemical weapons.
And Senator, we also know in this particular case that there may be more. Can we comment on that?
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I'll show you the classified document. It's right here, and it says that, in fact, that there are assessed that there are additional weapons that we need to find. I can't go into the details. It's in the classified portion, but there are still great concern about the number of weapons that are still out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. See, that was back in 2006, my friends. All right. And back in 2006 when
The chairman of the
okay, back in 2006, okay, when they originally reported that, okay, at the press release, okay, all right, but okay, but see, that was back in 2006, all right, but where was the New York Times back then? All right, I didn't see any articles, nothing reported in nothing reported in the press, in the mainstream press. So the real cover up here, okay, it's not the military. The military didn't cover it up. All right, it's the mainstream media. I didn't see anything on MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, none of those channels. None of the major mainstream media and none of the print media reported that finding back in 2006. All right, so the real cover up here is the media covered it up. The media covered this story up. All right, my friends. All right, where was the New York Times back then? I ask you. And on that note, my friends, I do want to take some phone calls. So, if you are paying attention, all right, the number is 272-3835. All right, 272-3835. Or no, that's not the number. I'm sorry. No, the number is 272-0319. All right, 0319. Okay, but while I'm waiting for calls now, I do want to mention that the elections, the midterm elections now are looking good for the Republicans. That's right. Okay, Democrats now are distancing themselves from Obama. Most recently, Grimes in Kentucky, okay, Grimes in Kentucky has the most recent one now is Grimes from Kentucky. Okay. She refused recently to say whether or not she voted for Barack Obama. Okay. So she was asked if she voted for Barack Obama. All right. But she refused to even mention it. All right. Yeah. It's crazy. All right. It's very, very crazy. All right. So here we have Democrats distancing themselves from Obama because they don't even want him campaigning for them. All right. Mind you, Obama did cancel 2 campaign trips to deal with the Ebola crisis. All right. But remember Obama stated that he's not on the ballot, but get this. All right, he's not on the ballot, but his policies are. Okay. All right. And he openly stated that. All right. And now every Democrat knows that. All right. Every Democrat that runs on Obama's failed policies is getting voted out. Okay. In fact, there's a majority of support for the Republicans. Okay. Yep, there's a majority of support for the Republicans. All right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. But this election here, all right, is kind of getting underway because of the Republicans' high marks. All right. Everywhere I look, the Republicans are way ahead. All right. Okay. Especially in the particular races here. All right. But I want to show you some things here. Oops. Okay, wait. I want to show you some things here. All right, because it is quite evident that that because of Obama's failed policies, people are really getting tired, very, very tired of the way things are going. Okay, we have the Ebola breakout that just got a lot worse. All right, and we know that Obama is just an amateur at these. He's appointing amateurs for czars. You know, remember when Obama, you know, it's quite bizarre to me that you remember when Obama became president. Okay, the first thing that he started doing was appointing different czars for different things. Like he had an economy czar, he had an environmental czar, he had he just had so many czars. You know, he had a jobs czar, and you know, he appointed all of these czars and surrounded himself with all these amateurs that had no experience in what they were going to oversee. Right. But it just goes to show you that it just goes to show you that we can't really trust the government. All right. We can't really trust the government. And it's all breaking out. All right, it's all breaking out. Okay, now, so my friends, 272-0319 is the number. All right, but I want to get rolling right along because my friends, we you know, this is an election year, and it's quite critical. Everything's crashing down. It's like Obama's house of cards is just crashing down, you know. And we are not safe. Okay, apparently, you remember Obama openly stated that that Ebola would never break out on our shores. But lo and behold, okay, people have been flown to this country and flown in this country, and they contracted the virus. All right, and they contracted the virus. Okay. But my friends, it's just ridiculous. Okay. We live in harsh times. Okay, and plus this thing with ISIS. And Obama's or Obama's non-ground war. Okay, it is not working. There are many people that feel that ISIS is winning. Okay? And, it's not looking good. And so, my friends, we're in an election year. Okay? We know that there were cover-ups. We know that there have been scandals. And now the Democrats can't run on the failed policies of the Obama administration. Okay, and some Democrats are running from Obama. Okay, but they're not running on their own record. All right, they're trying to seem conservative. Now, don't be deceived by the Democratic Party. All right, don't be deceived by the Democratic Party. All right, because they're doing things now that will shock you. All right, but I want to show you this clip, okay? Because in this election, okay, I want to show you this clip, okay? Because this is very, very crucial. This is some people in the media talking about the races and different political campaigns. All right, so take a look. All right, here it goes.
Americans, like so many other issues that the president is touching right now, have lost confidence in this president's ability to lead. There is a malaise in this country of how people are feeling that this president is handling big problems.
The president isn't on the ballot here. Republicans are desperate to put him on the ballot because they are trying to run away from their own terrible record.
No, that's not true, my friends. Okay, now. Reince Priebus was right, okay, on Fox News Sunday, all right? And in fact, okay, now people are running, the Democrats are running away from Obama's policies, okay, running away from Obama, all right? And I want to show you this poll, that recent polls now are showing that the Republicans are more favored. All right, I want to show you this here. Okay, okay. There's a recent pull out here. All right. Now there's a recent. Well, hold up a second. Okay. Now there's a recent pull out here, and I gotta make this quick here. Okay, but this is why you need to vote Republican. All right. Okay, this is why you need to vote Republican. Okay, 49%. Favor the GOP, okay? Favor the GOP, all right? Okay, but 49% favor the GOP, all right? Now we don't have that much time left here, all right? We got 5 minutes left, all right? But okay, so 5 minutes left. I want to show you this poll, all right? That has come out, all right, and it's quite interesting. Okay, this is the poll, all right, right here. Okay, all right, right there. Okay, but this is the poll right here. 45% favor Republicans. Okay, over Democrats. All right, but that's the poll, my friends, and seeing as how we're just about out of time, my friends, I gotta take it. That is all the time that we have left on the show tonight. Okay, I don't even have time for the last words of the night. So, my friends, we thank you for watching Political Point. You can follow me on Twitter at WilliamMitro2, and also catch us on YouTube. All right. Once again, we thank you for watching Political Point, where the right is right and the left is always on the wrong side of history. Vote Republican.